In the small, lively town of Asokwa lived a young woman named Ajoa. She was in her early 30s, tall, graceful, and radiant, with skin that glowed like the first light of dawn. Her beauty was so astonishing that men lost their words whenever they looked her way. For years, she lived with her parents, Papa Kwaku and Mama Abina, in a simple but happy home with a lot of laughter. They were known for their kindness and wisdom, the kind of parents who taught by example and corrected with love. Though many men admired Ajoa, they found it hard to approach her. It wasn't just her beauty, it was her calm confidence. She carried herself like someone who knew her value, yet she was gentle and humble. One by one, wealthy men came with gifts, gold bracelets, fine fabrics, and promises of cars and houses. But Ajoa said no to them all. She turned away 7 rich suitors. Her parents grew worried. One evening, after supper, her father called her into the sitting room. The kerosene lamp flickered between them, throwing gentle shadows on the walls. "My daughter," he began softly, "you are not getting younger. Your mother and I will not be here forever. We want to see you settled, with a man who will love you and build a family with you." "Yes, Ajoa," her mother added, "we are growing old. When we are gone, who will stand by you? You can't live alone forever." Ajoa listened quietly, her hands resting on her lap. Finally, she said, "Papa, Mama, I understand your heart. But I will not marry for money or fear. I want a man I can trust, a man who loves me for who I am, not what I look like." Her parents exchanged a look of concern, but they said no more. They knew their daughter's spirit, gentle, but firm like the roots of an old tree. Months passed. Ajoa continued her life quietly, helping her mother at the market and teaching children at the local reading center. Then one day, everything changed. He came. His name was Emmanuel, a humble young man from a nearby town. He wasn't rich, but his eyes were honest, and his smile reached his heart. He came to Asokwe to work as a mason, building homes for the new families in town. From the first time Emmanuel saw Ajoa at the market, he couldn't stop thinking about her. But unlike the others, he didn't rush. He greeted her with respect, helped her carry her basket, and talked to her like a friend. Slowly, Ajoa began to notice him, not for what he had, but for who he was. He made her laugh. He listened when she spoke. He was patient, and when he finally confessed his love, he said it simply, "Ajoa, I don't have riches, but my heart is true." Ajoa's parents were unsure at first. After all, Emma was not a man of wealth. But they saw how happy he made their daughter. And so, with prayers, songs, and blessings, they were married in a small but joyful ceremony under the old mango tree behind their home. The whole town came to dance. Ajoa, in her Kent cloth, glowed brighter than the sun. Emma looked at her like she was the only person in the world. Their first years together were peaceful and full of dreams. They lived modestly but happily. Ajoa helped at the market while Emmanuel worked hard at the construction site. Every evening, they sat under the mango tree, sharing stories about the future. But as months turned to years, Emmanuel began to feel restless. He watched others travel abroad, to Europe and America, chasing what they called greener pastures. He started to dream too. One night, as the crickets sang in the distance, Emmanuel Kojo turned to Ajoa and said, "My love, I want to go abroad. I will work, save money, and come back to build us a better life." Ajoa was quiet for a long time. She feared the distance, but she trusted him. So she smiled softly and said, "If this is what your heart wants, I will wait for you. But promise me, promise you'll come back." Emmanuel held her hands. "I promise, Ajoa. You are my heart. I will never forget you." The next month, Emmanuel left Ghana. The whole town came to see him off. Ajoa cried quietly, waving until the bus disappeared down the dusty road. For the first few months, Emmanuel called often. He sent small gifts, shoes, a phone, and letters filled with love. But then, the calls became less frequent, and then they stopped. Ajoa's heart began to worry. She prayed every night. Months turned into a year, then 2. And though her friends whispered rumors, she kept her faith. Emmanuel will come back, she said softly. He promised. Years passed, and Ajoa's world grew quieter. Each morning, she rose before the sun, swept the compound, and went to the market. Her smile, once bright as morning dew, began to fade like a forgotten song. The townsfolk whispered whenever she passed. Some pitied her, others mocked her. Her husband will never come back, they said. But Ajoa held her head high. She believed in the man she loved. Then, one evening, after 3 long years, her phone rang. It was Emmanuel. Her heart nearly stopped. She ran outside, hands trembling, and answered with tears in her eyes. Emmanuel. My love. Is it really you? His voice came through the line, warm, but distant. Ajoa, yes, it's me. I've been busy working. Life here is different, my dear. I miss you. Ajoa cried with joy. They spoke for hours. He told her stories of snow, big cities, and new opportunities. She told him of home, of her parents, the mango tree, and how she waited every day. But as weeks passed, his calls became strange. He spoke less of love and more of work. He sent less money. And sometimes, when she called, another woman's voice answered before hanging up. Ajoa's heart began to break, but she tried to deny it. Maybe it's a friend, she told herself. Maybe he's just busy. Then one day, a neighbor returned from Europe. And with trembling lips, she brought the truth. Ajoa. I saw Emmanuel. He's married. To a white woman. The world fell silent. Ajoa's knees gave way. She sank to the floor and wept, deep, painful sobs that came from the soul. Her mother rushed in, holding her tight as she cried. Mama Abina, whispering, "Oh, my child, the heart of man can be deceitful. But you must not let this destroy you." Days turned into nights of tears. For the first time, Ajoa felt truly alone. Her trust, the trust she had built her whole life upon, had been shattered. Emmanuel never called again. He built his new life abroad, sending no word, no letter, no goodbye. But life, as the elders say, does not stop for broken hearts. And the rain that destroys the flower also teaches it to grow again. Ajoa slowly began to heal. She stopped waiting by the window. She started reading again, helping children at the community school. She found purpose in teaching others, especially young girls, to value themselves beyond love or beauty. One afternoon, after a long day of teaching, she sat under the mango tree, the same place where Emmanuel once promised forever. She looked up at the branches and whispered, "I may have lost love, but I've found myself." From that day, she lived differently. She dressed not to be admired, but to feel alive. She laughed again, real laughter, the kind that healed her spirit. Her story began to inspire others in the town. Women came to her for advice. She became a voice of wisdom, gentle, calm, and full of grace. Even her parents looked at her with new eyes. They saw the woman their daughter had become, strong not because of love, but because of pain overcome. Years later, Emmanuel returned to Ghana. He had aged, his hair touched with grey, his smile smaller than before. He came to Asokwa looking for Ajoa. When he found her, she was sitting beneath the same mango tree, surrounded by children, teaching them to read. Ajoa, as he called her in sad way, he started crying and so. Ajoa sat in silence, staring into the sky. The same sky she once dreamed under. Now heavy with questions she could not answer. The man she trusted with her heart. The one she believed would never betray her. Was it love, or was it deception hiding behind a smile? The truth is coming, but not today. My dear friends, this is only the beginning of Ajoa's journey. If you've been moved by her story, please like, share, and subscribe to Stories of the Land by Charis. Because in part 2 of The Man I Trusted with Life, the truth will unfold. And hearts will be tested in ways you'll never expect. Until then, remember, every story carries a heartbeat. And every heartbeat carries a lesson.